I want to thank Kidney Cancer Association and the meeting organizers to providing me this opportunity to present my work on metabolic gene signature as biomarkers for recurrence in localized clear cell kidney cancer. Here are my disclosures. As a background, the clinical problem we have at hand is to see we can predict patients at high risk of recurrence after surgery for stage 3 kidney cancer and somehow direct adjuvant treatment to these patients. As we know, patients with high risk localized disease have almost a 50% chance of recurrent disease after surgical resection within 6 years. There have been several adjuvant clinical trials in stage 3 kidney cancer, and the only approved drug in this setting that we have at hand is the TKI sunitinib. So as a background to my talk today, I want to showcase the work our collaborating group has done in this realm. This work was recently published in JCI. So as we know, tobacco smoking is a known risk factor for kidney cancer, and not much is known about how tobacco smoking affects the pathobiology of kidney cancer. So the group sought to investigate this further using an integrated approach utilizing transcriptomic, metabolomic, and metabolomic analyses. In a matched cohort of Caucasian males of never smokers and long-term smokers, they found that there is a distinct metabolic subtype of clear cell kidney cancer in lifetime smoker patients as compared to never smokers. Tumors from smokers also showed activation of oxidative phosphorylation, shown here, coupled with reprogramming of the malate aspartate shuttle. Further integrated metabolomic analysis also showed that there was a redistribution and deposition of cadmium, arsenic, and copper, and especially copper was redistributed and was associated with complex 4, thus indicating that there was an activation of the OXPHOS complex. Therefore, using a set of 154 relevant OXPHOS and related genes, we were able to stratify a UC tumor cohort of tobacco smokers, which is not shown on this slide. The same signature was then used to interrogate the TCGA fire host legacy cohort, which is shown in this figure. This is from the TCGA fire host legacy cohort, as I said, in a Caucasian male patient population. This signature comprised of 4 gene clusters shown on the left-hand panel here, where cluster 1 corresponded to genes that encoded TCA cycle enzyme, subunits of respiratory complex 2, and the malate aspartate shuttle. Subtypes 2 and 3 encoded for enzymes belonging to the glycolysis pathway, and subtype 4 included genes that encoded for complex 1, 4, and 5. So as you can see here, importantly, this MG154 gene signature was able to stratify the TCGA cohort into 6 distinct categories with different survivals, and this classification was independent of genomic alterations. With that background, we hypothesized that transcriptomic data related to metabolic reprogramming in kidney cancer can be further exploited to predict prognosis. Thus, the aim of the current study is to analyze metabolic signatures in primary tumors from patients that remain disease-free versus those that experience recurrence within 24 months of surgery in a similar cohort of localized stage 3 tumors from Caucasian male patients in the TCGA fire hose legacy cohort. This is the diagram of our cohort. So we started off with a total sample of 534 tumors, of which 309 tumors belonged to white males. 73 patients had stage 3 kidney cancer. Ultimately, we had to take 22 and 20 tumors respectively in the disease-free and recurrent data sets, as these are the people that had complete and reliable survival data available. We also recognize that 2 years is probably not a sufficiently long time period for patients with stage 3 tumors, but this was chosen to ensure adequate and balanced numbers between the 2 groups. CBio portal from Firehose Legacy was used to extract sample-specific metadata, including survival and mutational profiles, and normalized RNA sequence expression profiles were obtained using iLinks. We were able to identify 1,174 genes that were differently expressed between the two sets of tumors at a significant level. Further, by gene set enrichment analysis, we showed in an unbiased way that there was an enrichment of OXPHOS geo categories in stage 3 recurrent patients. Further, on volcano plot analysis using a p-value cutoff of 0.05 as demonstrated by this line, we were able to show that there was a significant enrichment of the OXPHOS signature in primary tumors from stage 3 patients which recurred within 2 years of surgical resection. And this signature comprised of 11 genes as shown within this orange box. Next, box whisker plot analysis to look at expression levels of each of the individual genes in this 11 gene signature showed that their expression was significantly higher in patients with stage 3 recurrent tumors. When we looked at the average expression of all 11 genes, the significance of expression was even higher with a p-value of 0.054. Because we had previously seen in our tobacco smoking cohort, as alluded to before, there was an excellent level of coordinated co-expression between OXPHOS genes, we sought to analyze the same in this cohort of patients as well. So using a Circos plot, we showed correlations in expression of the indicated genes using Spearman correlation analysis. In these diagrams, the size of these nodes is representative of the correlation for each gene, and the edges represent individual correlation between individual genes. In orange right here, we have labeled the 11 signature genes that I have been talking about. The blue refers to other OXPHOS genes. Red is depictive of the TCA genes. Green are the glycolysis genes, and yellow are the MAS or the malate aspartate shuttle genes. Clearly, as you can see here, there is a high level of correlation and expression of our signature genes in the normal kidneys, and this correlation is reduced in both tumors belonging to the disease-free as well as the recurrent categories. When we further visualize this with the help of this density plot, where the x-axis represents the Spearman correlation coefficient, we can clearly see that the patients with normal kidneys have a higher correlation coefficient. The stage 3 recurrent and disease-free tumors have lower correlation, and the difference between these two is also significant, that being much lower in the tumors belonging to the recurrent category. This 11 gene signature is now better depicted in this heat map, where the black bars are representative of disease-free status and the gray bars are representative of recurrent status. We found here that our 11 gene metabolic signature is able to stratify the 42 stage 3 patients from the TCGA cohort into two subtypes. Those on the right-hand sides are tumors belonging to patients with recurrent tumors, and they seem to be enriched for the 11 gene signature as depicted here, thus indicating the ability of this signature to prognosticate patients with localized kidney cancer. So in conclusion, we have identified an 11 gene signature encoding members of the mitochondrial respiratory complexes, which can stratify our training cohort of stage 3 tumors into disease-free versus recurrent tumors, indicating a good versus poor prognosis. These genes are significantly upregulated in stage 3 recurrent tumors, where they also interestingly show a loss of coordinated co-expression with other OXPHOS genes. Further analysis is in progress, and this might be too early, but the loss of coordinated co-expression might indicate that there is an overall reprogramming of the OXPHOS genes that's happening in patients with stage 3 recurrent disease. We do recognize some limitations of our study, including a small number of patients that we included in this analysis, with 20 and 22 patients in each of the two cohorts. We also recognize, as previously stated, that 2 years might not be a long enough follow-up for patients with stage 3 kidney cancer. Only male Caucasian patients were included in this analysis. Mechanistic insight as to why there is discoordinated expression of genes is still in progress, and we hope to get better answers to that and understand that better in future analysis. And although this signature separates the two subtypes of stage 3 kidney cancer, further work is needed to increase the prognostic power of this gene signature. With that, next steps that are planned for this analysis include to determine transcriptomic signature of localized stage 3 cancer, and this time to stratify patients with recurrence within 2 years, as well as 5 years from surgery. We would also like to determine if the signature holds true in other races and also female patients. We would like to validate the metabolic OXPHOS gene signature established by the analysis in an independent cohort of tumors at UC by quantitative RT-PCR. And then we would finally like to perform an unbiased analysis of differential gene expression patterns between the disease-free versus recurrent tumors using RNA sequencing analysis. I would like to thank Bhargav Vemuri, a graduate student with bioinformatics, for his tremendous support for this project, who were mentored by Dr. Sizit Krzyzewska and Dr. Meller at University of Cincinnati and Cincinnati Children's Hospital, respectively. The rest of our CCRCC team, Dr. Shamsi, Dr. Landero, Dr. Cunningham, Dr. Klaas, and our graduate students, Dina, Megan, James, and Bridget were also heavily involved in this project, and I want to extend my gratitude towards them. With that, I would like to end this presentation. Thank you so much again, KCA, for giving me this opportunity to present.